It is a very special day for us, and we have something very special planned for you. I want to, first of all, take the opportunity to congratulate and to welcome someone who will be our new next door neighbors here very soon from right across the street at Domtar, and that's a brand new Food City operation that we're very, very pleased to have here with us today. And Mayor Dennis Phillips and Mr. Steve Smith are going to come up here and say just a few words here in just a couple of minutes. But one thing that I've tried to do as I've prepared myself for groundbreakings and for ribbon cuttings, and that's one thing that I really, really like to do in this role, y'all. It represents a tremendous amount of commitment to business and industry and to our community, and I'm awfully proud to stand here and be able to do this. But I want to tell you just a little bit about KVAT food stores and their history. It traces all the way back to 1955 when company founder Jack Smith and his family first opened an 8,800 square foot Piggly Wiggly store in Grundy, Virginia. And over the next few years, they added a couple of stores in Kentucky, and they continued their growth steadily into 1984 when they began acquiring other stores and chains from around the area, including Quality Foods, White Stores, Kennedy Piggly Wiggly, Mid-Mountain Foods, Winn-Dixie Stores, Bilo locations, and others. They celebrated their 50th anniversary on November the 17th of 2005 by opening a 46,000 square foot store in Van Sant, Virginia, just outside of Grundy. The largest Food City store ever opened was right here in Kingsport in November of 2007. It was 55,000 square feet, 7 times the size of the original store, which was phenomenal. I didn't know we had that many more groceries than we had in 1955. But on October of 2008, they opened their 100th store in Rogersville, Tennessee. And the company celebrated the event by sending a special commemorative I-beam to every store in the company where employees signed it as a goodwill gesture, and that beam now sits above the entranceway of that 100th store, for your information. Steve Smith, who will talk to us here in just a few minutes, was named the 2009 Grocer of the Year by the Tennessee Grocers and Convenience Store Association during their annual convention. And as you all know from being right here in Kingsport, that's just a small part of what Food City does for us and our community. And I'll talk about some of their other charitable contributions for just a minute. You all know that they helped us and were a huge part of the 68th annual Santa Train that rode here just a couple of weeks ago. Also, they sponsor locally grown produce at most of all of their stores and do buy that from farmers in our community. They have a School Bucks program to which they have contributed in excess of $12.5 million in educational equipment and tools to over 800 participating area schools. How about that? That's a great statistic right there. Food City also sponsors the Food City Bass Tournament in Lenoir City, Tennessee, and as you all know, they sponsor 2 NASCAR events at Bristol Motor Speedway, and we're very proud of what they do there and bringing that great event to our city. So Food City, as you can tell, not only is a great industry and business here in the Kingsport community, but also a great contributor to what we all do. So thank you for taking that minute or so to let me tell you a little bit more about them. And with that, I'm going to turn the mic over to Kingsport Mayor Dennis Phillips. Mayor.
Thank you, Charlie. You know, some people thought this would never happen, and I'll admit it took us a long time to get Steve Smith to our way of thinking. I can't begin to tell you what a great corporate citizen Food City is and the Smith family. One of my highlights as mayor has been the privilege of getting to know the Smith family and visiting with them and listen to how concerned they are about every area in which they locate. You know, anyone can build a grocery store, but everyone doesn't have a Steve Smith and an Ed Moore to put in those stores. And I want to make a personal commitment from this city that we're going to support this store. We're not going to put Ed out of business either, Steve, even though he's worried about it. But I think Kingsport will show that they can support this store. Probably the largest single request that I got as mayor was, when are we going to get a grocery store on the west side of town? And when we went first to visit Steve, he was very receptive. The entire corporate staff is a group of people that we should all be extremely proud of. Now, I don't know if we can convince him to put in a meeting room yet or not, but while we've got him around our way of thinking, we may not have him totally, but let him know that we need a meeting room like they have out at Food City. And we won't put any pressure on him today, but Steve, I think we really would like to have a meeting room. Downtown has a need for one, but I would like to introduce Steve Smith, not only as a good friend, but a person that has been extremely good to Kingsport, him and his entire organization. And Steve, thank you all for what you do for Kingsport.
Well, I've got to tell this story. They asked me a couple days ago if they wanted to prepare any notes for me to talk about, and I said no. I said I'm going after Mayor Phillips. I said, so there's no use. I said I'll have to wing it because I don't know what he's going to say. But let me say, on behalf of our company, this will be our 107th store when we get it open, and there's no town that's any more important to our company than Kingsport is. And the mayor indicated that we'd been good to Kingsport. I will tell you, Kingsport has been very good to our company as well. So I look at it as a partnership. This is our third significant investment in this community in the last three and a half years. We replaced the store on Fort Henry Drive and Eastman Road some 3 years ago. We expanded our Colonial Heights store just a few months ago, and now we'll be able to make an $8+ million investment here. And I can tell you that we work with lots of cities and counties and municipalities, and nowhere can I find one that works better with us than Kingsport. Now, that doesn't mean that the mayor and the Board of Aldermen give us the key to the cities. They've got their standards, and quite frankly, that's what we all want, because we want a great city. But they also understand that the free enterprise system is what makes the city tick. And they work with you, they work to help a business locate here. And I think you can see that by the growth that you've had in Kingsport. And I can just tell you that we're extremely proud to be part of that. You know, we're going to build a 48,500 square foot store here. We'll have about 25,000 additional retail and office space here available. We'll have a gas and go here. We're just absolutely delighted to be partnered with the farmers market, because we have a commitment to locally grown product. We think that's awfully important with the agriculture significance in our region. This last year we just completed a great season where we bought over $6 million worth of locally grown produce and sold it through our supermarkets, and that keeps a lot of family farmers working, and we're awfully proud of that. We also haven't lost significance, the significance of what this property once was, and this being the home of the Kingsport Press. And I have been very fortunate to meet some great alumni of the Kingsport Press. They've come to see me and talk to me about, you know, what this business, what this location has meant to Kingsport, and have asked us, quite frankly, to not forget where we're located. And I don't know where they are in the audience, but if you folks that have been gracious enough to come see me, I'll just raise your hand. I want to make a commitment that I've made to them. I'll make it here in public. We won't forget that this is the Press property. And when we build this store and we build our retail space, you'll see a significance in the construction and the property that will remind people for many, many years to come that this was indeed the Kingsport Press property. While we're not prepared today to give the details of that, we've got some bright engineers and construction people that are working on that to be able to make sure that takes place, because we think it obviously has a very important historical significance here in this Kingsport area. And you know, Mayor, if we also got a lot of calls about West Kingsport too. I'm not sure if you put folks up to it, but we haven't serviced this area very well with our company, and we are in fact excited to be here. We'll create in our store alone probably close to 175 jobs, about half of which will be full-time, about half of which will be part-time, and quite honestly, the part-time jobs are not insignificant either, because the thing that we're one of the proudest of is we give so many young people that first job and that first opportunity to learn what work is all about. And I'm absolutely convinced that that first job is one of the most important things that happens to a young individual, and not just what the job is, but who their mentor and who their teacher is. And that's one of the things we're the most proud of our store management team, because they take the time with the 14 and 15 and 16-year-olds to teach them work ethic, to teach them responsibility, and to teach them what they're going to be faced with when they get into the workforce some years in the future. So again, we're excited about this location. Thank you very much for the opportunity. We hope to have the store open, good Lord willing, and the snow doesn't fly too much this winter. By the April, no later than May time frame, you can see the walls going up right over here right now. And again, we hope to have a roof on it by I'll make my construction guys cringe, by the first of the year, so we can continue working inside all through the winter, and when the spring comes, we can get our outside work done and get the store open. Again, we're just excited to be part of Kingsport. With that, Charlie, I'll turn it back over to you. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Steve. And with that, and making sure y'all are awake with that squeak, we're going to have a groundbreaking ceremony. So, Food City folks, who would you all like to participate in the shovel